how I would have someone, get up and just sitting at the edge of the bed if they didn't have to log roll, if they didn't have any hip precautions that I had to adhere to. So if I'm just trying to do like a normal movement pattern, that's what I'm going to do for supine. I call it the teeter-totter method. So as the legs come down, the shoulders come up, right? Because that's kind of what you guys are like, oh shoot, the legs up, and why aren't our shoulders up already? Because as the legs go down, that helps with the weight of the shoulders coming out. And the same thing in the reverse. You've got to be prepared that once you assist or once they bring their legs up, the shoulders are going down. Just grab the hands, right? So we do start with getting her into sideline. So bring your leg up and have you reach across with this arm and grab the bed. Grab right there, okay? And I do like the idea of getting her kickstand down, getting that left arm down as her kickstand. So I'm going to have you bend this leg up, okay? So her legs are prepared to come over the edge of the bed. All right? Now I'll pull your hair. So I'm going to help. I'm underneath her shoulder right now, and for some people you actually have to help them get the arm positioned like that. So I'm going to position her elbow right underneath her, right in line, elbow in line with shoulders, like a yoga instructor. And then I place the hand out in front so she can also push up with that hand. And what I tell her is as your legs come over, your shoulders are going to come up. So I want you to push on this arm. You might be prepared to give a cue on this arm if you don't have to do a lot of help with the legs, or if you can hold the legs with this arm and also give a cue here. The cue I like to give, is just that she's trying to extend with her wrist. That she's pushing here and extending with the wrist is what I'm trying to give the cue for. So, all right, shoulders come. And you're up. Okay. Pretty easy, right? And then going back down, we're going to put your arm down. We're going to have you land right there on your elbow. Catch yourself here. I want you to keep your shoulder forward. Something that patients will do is they'll just completely lose their balance backwards across the bed, so you really want her to lower herself like she's going towards this shoulder. All right, sometimes I will use the bed rail to cheat. So if somebody needs a little extra help, I can even help them get their foot up here to get a little extra pressure, okay? Be prepared if you do have to help the patient lift their legs up into the bed if they're weak or if they need some support of it. So bring out legs up. And then roll back. Did you get that? Okay. All right. Here's how this can go bad. You guys kind of were doing it when you were rolling over there. There we go. Roll this way. Okay. I get too focused on her legs, and as I bring her legs around, I'm not in a good position to guard her shoulders, and she might over-rotate. And that can be a real problem, especially if you've got the person way scooted on the edge of the bed. The same thing, once you go ahead and sit up. There you go. If I'm right on the edge of the bed, that can happen too when you're going back to the bed. So I've got her down on her elbow. She's kind of teetering on the edge there. Don't let yourself fall on your head, okay? But you have to realize if you're doing all the help here on the legs, how much rotation this is putting on her legs, right? So make sure that when you're guarding, you're here, not down here. If you need that much help with somebody's legs, you need another person helping get them back into the bed. Okay, because you need to be positioned that you're right here by your pelvis, so that some people, when you're getting them up to the edge of the bed, you can get right into a position where you can block their pelvis and be ready to go with scooting them in to the edge of the bed, or back into the bed more, or over to the chair, getting ready for the transfer, whatever, okay? So you need to be able to transition right from that front position to this kind of front square position with your patient. So if you want to be really challenging as a patient, do some of that exaggeration, that rotation. If that's what you feel as they're trying to help with the legs, or if you catch them that they're out of the safe position, kind of give them that cue as the mock patient as you're practicing these things. Okay? One more thing before you practice that. Go ahead and lie back down again. So now I'm going to say that she is a first day post-op back fusion. And so I need to get her up, and she has log roll. She through fusion, so she has to log roll. You can do that same maneuver. I just have to tell her when you roll, you need to keep your hips and shoulders in line, okay? So I have you roll this direction. You can still bend this leg up. I want you to roll with your hips and shoulders together. Yep. She's like a stiff log roll. Okay. Now, with this, you just want to make sure that she does get her elbow. I want you to get that elbow up underneath you. There you go. As your legs go over the bed, I want you to bring your shoulders up. So legs over and shoulders up. Because you don't want her to do that twisting of the hips that I kind of exaggerated in that last example. And I don't want her to do too much side bending either. I really want her to do that as a smooth motion. As she comes up with her legs over, her shoulders come up, so she's not kind of like this and then up like that. But people that have just had back surgery, they can do that. You know, they're just like a min assist with that. So it's mostly just cueing more than anything. And cueing so that if you cue them correctly and show them how to kind of break it down, it helps them do that comfortably without pain. And that's kind of one of the important things too. You want to be able to get the person to be able to be as independent as possible in avoiding painful motions. So any questions about that? Okay, I want you to spend a